Good evening, Tallahassee. I'm student meteorologist Sydney Welch.
And I'm student meteorologist Michael Anand.
And we had a beautiful day on campus today. Things really are heating up a little bit more than we've seen the past few days, but not quite hot enough for it to be uncomfortable.
Yeah, you have those cool mornings, and then by 10 a.m. it's warm enough where you can take up that jacket, and it's really nice outside in the afternoons. It's not too warm, but very comfortable outside.
Yeah, for any of those winter lovers, the next week is not going to be your week, so you might want to stay inside with the air conditioning on because it's going to be warm and heating up for the rest of this week.
Yeah, that warming trend will continue. By the weekend, we'll be in the mid-80s, and we're not expecting any rain for a while.
No rain, no clouds. We're going to be in a high-pressure dominant area for the next 7 days, so within our 7-day, we're not seeing anything interesting going on, really.
Yeah, but nationally there's a lot to talk about, and we'll get to that later in the show.
Yeah, we'll also be getting to some climatology that's going to be going on for your month of November. So that's pretty interesting to know for different areas and how their weather is going to be throughout the month.
Yeah, I agree. And the football game is on Saturday, so weather's going to be good for that. And I know that the North Florida Fair starts on Thursday, which is also great weather for that event.
And piggybacking off that football game, it's also Parents' Weekend, so those temperatures really are going to be heating up for Parents' Weekend. I hope that everyone has something that they can bring to the game to keep themselves cool. But I'm going to be taking us out to a look at our overview. I know that right now we are below average with our low temperature at 43, that average sitting at 52, and our high right on average. So we're seeing a high of 76 degrees and nowhere near that low record. So we don't really even have to worry about skimming 27 degrees anytime soon. Now lows around the region, we're noticing Tallahassee 43, the entire region sitting in the 40s, Bainbridge up there at 46, and Apalachicola down on the coast at 47 degrees. Now looking at our radar, this is what the radar is projected to look like for the next 7 days. Now, no clouds going on, maybe just some upper level clouds, but no moisture to be seen on this radar. Moving a little bit west, we do notice that there are some showers and clouds over there. We'll be getting to that in our local look and our southeast. Now tonight, 53, so we're going to be seeing a warmer evening, and those skies will be clear, so it's a nice day to go look at the stars or go look at that moon because it will be pretty big tonight. Now, sunshine is back. We don't call ourselves the Sunshine State for no reason. This next week will really prove that name. Now, November temperatures, we're going to be above average for November. And we were seeing below average temperatures for the end of October. So we're switching that up nicely. And hopefully we're going to be seeing a perfect Parents' Weekend, perfect for a football game and everything that's going to be going on with that. But as for right now, we're taking it over to Jordan with a look at the desk.
Thanks so much, Sydney. Not so much going on here in terms of weather. Very calm week, as a matter of fact, especially when we look into our 5-day as we had a sneak peek for our local. However, now let's start talking about what happened today in weather history in terms of severe weather. So in 1861, a hurricane near Cape Hatteras, North Carolina, battered a Union fleet of ships, attacking the Carolina ports and produced high tides and high winds in New York State and New England. Remember though, back in this time, we didn't have the National Weather Service, so we actually we had no radar, we had no satellites. We also we had no names for these storms. So when we say just a hurricane, it just means that they experienced hurricane conditions because we did not have the instruments or the technology at the time to be able to measure that. Also today in history, in 1966, Santa Ana winds fanned fires and brought record November heat to parts of coastal California. Those Santa Ana winds, if you look on YouTube, you might see some videos, especially of those large dust storms, especially out in the Midwest, in desert areas. Those are big fuels for especially wildfires because of how dry and how dusty that air is out there. They are still in a dry spell right now in California, and as a matter of fact, it's going to be quite dry all week this week as well. The November records include 86 degrees in San Francisco, 97 degrees in San Diego, and 101 recorded at the Los Angeles International Airport. So that's a significant increase in temperatures. As a matter of fact, we actually hit our record temperature just last year for today. So let's go ahead and take it out to myself, where I'll go explain a little bit more about what happened locally. This morning we saw quite chilly conditions, especially for what we've been experiencing the past couple of days. You might have gotten used to it, but it's certainly been warming up significantly throughout the day. 43 degrees we woke up to this morning in Tallahassee, 43 Quincy, 45 in Thomasville, and some of our cold spots, actually Perry at 42 degrees and Valdosta as well. So quite cold as we headed out this morning, but look at it now, a significant increase, a 30-degree increase in temperature as we headed into today. 73 degrees right now in Tallahassee under clear skies. That dew point and humidity is right about average right now this time of year. So we are expecting quite nice dry conditions, and we also have a nice breeze out of the south-southeast at about 7 miles per hour. So that is helping to fuel a little bit of the moisture in our region. Current temperatures throughout Tallahassee and the Big Bend region, we're seeing a mid to low 70s. 73 right now Tallahassee, 72 St. Mark's, 74 in Perry, and 77 in Valdosta. As we head out to the west, we start to see a little bit warmer conditions as we have 77 in Bainbridge, 75 in Quincy, and 77 in Mariana. Local dew points right now, again, a little bit higher than what we've been seeing, and that's because we haven't had a significant cool down from a cold front. So we are seeing mid 50s and even some 60s, especially down by the coast where they are by that water. So we are in that comfortable range, starting to get into that moderate, but we should start to drop back down as the next cold front pushes some moisture out of our way. Right now we're being dominated by high pressure system. Notice the direction of these arrows. It goes in a clockwise rotation, and that means we are dominated by high pressure. So you have a lot of the winds coming from the east and from the south. So for us, when the winds come from the south, it kicks up a lot of the moisture from the Gulf, so we get more moisture. And that's what's also fueling a lot of the storms out by the warm front, as you can see in our satellite and radar. Let me go ahead and move out of the way right here. Because of this high pressure, it's helping to fuel some of these storms as they make our way, as it makes its way a little bit farther towards our region. However, we do not expect it to reach us at all because this warm front will subside and move northward. Here it is right now, lots of rain and thunderstorms just to the north and just to the south of this front, dominated by two low pressure systems and the stationary front just at North Carolina and Virginia area. We are going to be dominated by clear skies in the meantime, especially for the next coming week. So if you want to head out to the boat, great day to do that. We're going to have east winds at about 10 knots and a light chop, but very clear conditions. Tonight, we are going to have a much warmer evening, but we will have some clear skies, so it's a perfect day to do that. 53 degrees. Tomorrow, we're going to start to see 81 degrees. The 80s are back, clear skies and calm wind. Here's the 5-day forecast, 5 suns. Sydney, what do you have to say about that?
Wow, I haven't seen a 5-day forecast look like this since, well, yesterday actually. But we're going to be looking at the big picture, and Tallahassee and Key West are the only places that are not seeing any cloud cover. So they have the full suns, and Orlando and Miami are seeing more cloud cover than Tallahassee is, although there is a high pressure system over the state of Florida. Orlando is still seeing some clouds. Now, current temperatures around the region, Tallahassee 73, Orlando 77, and as we make it down to Miami, we're seeing 79. But towards the north of the southeast, we're seeing mid-60s in Little Rock and Huntsville as we make our way up there a little bit more inland. And also, look at Little Rock over there, 100% relative humidity. That means it is raining in Little Rock, along with Tupelo with that high percent relative humidity as well. So if they aren't seeing a shower right now, they will be in the near future. Now, as we make our way over towards the east, Savannah, 61% relative humidity, and up there in Wilmington, 68. So that is slightly muggy, but nothing too concerning, or no rain in their future. Now, look at these winds. We are really seeing the clockwise motion beginning with that high pressure that is situated up towards the north. Now, these winds are light until you make your way over towards Little Rock and Shreveport, where we are seeing a warm front that is going to be dissipating through the night tonight. So those high winds and showers are not going to be accompanied by anything severe, but we do see it dissipating as it's making its way east towards Montgomery, and it will be dissipated by tonight, so Tallahassee won't be seeing any of this moisture. Now, as we zoom in on this front, it was over Shreveport about a half hour ago, making its way towards Tupelo into the night and into today. Now, Montgomery is also seeing some pop-up storms in their area associated with this. As we make our way more towards the north, we're going to notice these storms also making their way towards the northeast in the northern part of our country. Now, looking at the water vapor, we're going to notice that it is pretty juicy where this warm front is laying, and that juice is making its way east. But other than that, it is moderate over the Tallahassee area. And then towards the tip of Florida, we're seeing fairly dry conditions in their areas. Now, dew points are very similar to the relative humidity, if not the same. It's just what the dew point is a ratio of what the relative humidity is a ratio between the temperature and the dew point. So tonight's forecast is 54 for Tallahassee, 56 for Montgomery and Atlanta, and over there in Savannah, we're seeing temperatures of 58 into tomorrow. Look at Tallahassee still holding that sun, and down there in Key West, they're going to be seeing some clouds. So now we are going to be taking it over to Jordan with another look at the desk.
Thanks so much, Sydney. Right now, we're actually going to talk about some weather news. Did you know that November marks the final month of hurricane season? However, November marks the final month of hurricane season. So far, we have had 16 named storms, and 10 of them actually developed into hurricanes. So there were 6 major hurricanes, and a major hurricane is classified as being a Category 3 strength or stronger. So far, hurricanes have been tracking slightly more active than the NOAA mid-season predictions that they had. As a matter of fact, they forecasted about 14 to 19 named storms for this season, and being 16, it's right in the middle there, so just perfect. 5 to 9 hurricanes, and them being about 10 of them, so we actually did strengthen a little bit more in terms of hurricanes. And they said about 2 to 6 major hurricanes, but they had 2 to 5 major hurricanes, but we did have about 6, and a few of them actually reaching our region, and some of that which we actually covered here at FSU. A couple of the hurricanes to point out: Nate, Ophelia, and Felipe developed in October, and Ophelia was the only major hurricane that month. However, it did not make landfall as a major storm, but it did reach the United Kingdom as a post-tropical cyclone, which doesn't usually happen this time, But be sure to stay alert and stay safe out there, because we still have the rest of the month, and even going into later in the spring, where we might see some early hurricanes like we did back in 2015 with Alex. For now, let's take it out to the desk, or let's take it out to the wall.
Thanks, Jordan. So let's take a look at your national weather. There's a lot going on in the nation, and so we'll bring you through that. Currently across the nation, we have the cooler conditions up in the north with 32 degrees in Billings, 34 in Minneapolis, and we have really warm conditions in Texas with 81 in Dallas and 82 in San Antonio. The 24 temperature change shows you it is much warmer in Texas compared to what it was yesterday. 26 degrees warmer in Dallas and 23 degrees warmer in San Antonio. And Billings is actually 15 degrees cooler than it was yesterday. And the water vapor is showing that we have a lot of moisture associated with a couple of low pressure systems in the plains and in the northern Rockies. And you can also see that there is some moisture associated with that warm front we were talking about earlier in the mid-south and southeast. The National Weather Picture shows you where these fronts are situated and where these low pressure systems are also situated. See, these low pressure systems are located in the in the Rocky Mountains and in the northern western part of our nation. And then you can see that warm front giving all these rain and thunderstorms to the mid-south and to the southeast. but high pressure is dominating the state of Florida. Let's look at these two warm fronts again. This is the one we were showing you earlier in the Mid-South region, bringing some rain and thunderstorms to Mississippi, Louisiana, and a couple of showers here in Alabama and near my hometown of Atlanta. And let's look at the other one in Ohio and in Indiana. It was giving some snow to them earlier today in northern Ohio near Cleveland and in northern Indiana, but now we can see all rain across central and southern Indiana and Ohio. Watches and warnings are showing these winter weather advisories, winter storm warnings across Billings, the Montana, Wyoming area. And we have some small craft advisories down towards Texas for all you boaters out there. Airport delays, there is nothing really to show here. We were seeing that there was a ground stop in Dulles earlier, but now that is gone from the graphic. And tonight's forecast is showing the colder conditions up in Montana and Wyoming with 23 degrees in Billings, 31 here in Minneapolis. The warmer spots are down in Texas and the Gulf Coast with 66 here in Dallas and 69 in New Orleans. Tallahassee is cool at 54. And tomorrow, that cool morning in Tallahassee will become warmer. As you can see, 82 here in Tallahassee. But the cold weather up in Billings and in Minneapolis with 31 and 41 degrees respectively. The hot spots are in Texas, 91 in Dallas and 88 in San Antonio. Now let's send it back to the desk with Jordan.
Thanks so much. I actually have Megan with me as
well.
well.
Here too, Michael. We're going to talk about a really interesting event hosted by FSU, actually. Jordan, you want to start talking a little bit about that?
Yes, it is the first annual FSU Karst Symposium. So if you're interested in geology, hydrology, environment, etc., or even like soil, moisture, the Karst Symposium, it's open to the public, no admission free, no registration required. But what is karst? That's what we're actually going to talk about.
So it's formed by the dissolution of soluble rocks like limestone, which is the basis of Florida.
Yes.
So it's relevant to us Floridians. Dolomite, gypsum. It's characterized by underground drain systems, and it has a lot to do with sinkholes, which are a very important issue in Florida when we talk about, the safety of citizens and development of land and
of course,
all of that.
Especially where I'm from. Actually, before I left, an entire couple of houses within a neighborhood were actually swallowed by sinkholes. So
it's
very relevant, especially if you live in Florida, where sinkholes are just so common, especially with our limestone. It's actually many kinds of karst landforms, which include caves, disappearing streams, springs, underground drainage systems, which we have lots of here because it is kind of a swamp, and it occurs all within Florida.
This is very interesting, and they're going to be doing presentations and oral speeches and posters all about geology, and this specifically. So even if you're not into if you're not super wise on geology, this is still important and interesting to us.
Absolutely, and of course, if you want to come by, it's from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., so all day on Friday in the room 353 in the Love Building here at the Department of Atmospheric Sciences, if you're not familiar with it, here at FSU. And if you aren't sure if this is the right kind of event for you, they actually do have a list of little topics that you might be interested in to actually join this. So if you're interested in environmental hydrology, fluid dynamics, sinkhole research, even seawater intrusion, I don't know what half this stuff is.
We have a lot of great student researchers and faculty here that are so knowledgeable on geology. I'm not a geology person, but I am in a couple of classes, and they make it really easy to understand it. So this could be something you could take your friends to. Like, again, it's free, so us college students on a budget, totally doable.
Exactly.
And if you're into any kind of environment thing, this is something that you can pick up on and get to know more about. But for right now, we're going to send it out to the wall.
Thanks, Megan and Jordan. So let's look at the weather around the state of Florida. We have very pleasant conditions across the entire state. The cooler spots are up in North Florida with 75 in Pensacola and 73 in Tallahassee. Our warm spot is actually 80 in Fort Myers, and we have 79 degrees in Miami. The current dew points, now these are a little higher than they were earlier in the week. Earlier in the week we were in the 30s, 40s, and 50s. Now across the state we see 50s and 60s. That means that the air is getting a little bit more uncomfortable, but not too much. It's very pleasant outside for anyone in Florida. The dry air that was situated across the state the last few days has now started to pull away, and you can see a lot of this moisture associated with that warm front we were showing you earlier in the national and the southeast regional view. The winds are pretty variable, but actually most of these winds are due to high pressure situated up to the north. We have the highest wind in Key West at 13 miles per hour and 12 in Pensacola. Mostly we're in the 7 to 10 mile per hour range in terms of our winds. Satellite and radar, there's no cloud cover really across any portion of the state. The nearest cloud cover is up in Mississippi and in Alabama, but the rest of the state, the whole state is dominated by high pressure. So you're enjoying those pleasant, really nice conditions compared to all the heat and humidity we felt during the summer. The Futurecast radar shows the storms associated with that warm front starting to die off as that warm front dies off, as Sydney was alluding to earlier. But across Florida, there's not much rain to speak of. Tonight's forecast, the cool spot is 54 here in Tallahassee, with the dry air that is allowing us to cool down rather quickly, and you will enjoy those cool nights and pleasant afternoons in the upper 70s and low 80s. 60s are present across central and southern Florida, and our warm spot is 71 in Key West. Thursday's forecast shows you 80s mainly across the board except for Pensacola, which is at 78. But again, we'll start with those cool, pleasant mornings, warming up rather quickly into those 80s, but the humidity is going to remain low, so it is going to feel very nice outside. And so let's send it back to the desk with Sydney.
Hey, Michael, I'm here too. You keep forgetting about me. It's all right, no hard feelings.
Megan's day today.
So Sydney and I are just going to talk about some fun facts for November. It's November 1st, so officially the start of the Christmas season.
Oh, yeah.
I have some Christmas music today, which, I'm not against, but I'm a little confused about.
Oh, I'm not against or confused about. I'm the one playing the Christmas music.
Two kinds of people. So just some fun facts about November for you guys. The birthstone for November is topaz, which is pretty fitting. It's a fall color. It's a caramely brown, I believe, so it's rather pretty. Mine's a ruby, so,
Yeah, mine's December, which I can't think of this off the top of my head, but it's light blue and it's cute and
sapphire,
beautiful.
maybe? I don't know.
I can't remember right off the top of my head, but what November also is it has Thanksgiving during it. It's the 4th Thursday in November, so we'll all be giving thanks on Thanksgiving for
thankful for that break from school we got there.
I know, exactly.
And for all the delicious food, so gotta love November. The birth flower for November is I can't pronounce it. I don't know. Can you pronounce that?
Let's see. Where is this?
The chrysanthemum. I don't know what that means, but for all you environmental people out there, that's just something we wanted to mention for you guys.
And did you know that November is also the National Pepper Month? So you have to put pepper on all your food.
I already got that covered. I already do that. So we are all good. Right now, we are going to go ahead and send it out to me at the wall. We have another look at our last local current conditions. Still beautiful temperatures, 73 right now. I call that living room temperature because in your living room you probably have your thermostat set anywhere from 73 to 76, which is just super comfortable conditions. We have a pretty low humidity. We're sitting at 51 right now. That's not too dry, not too humid, and just a light wind. So very, very mild outside is the story tonight. Our current temperatures in the entire region, look at all those 73s. That's pretty much the story for the region. 73, 72 St. Mark's, 72 in Perry, 72 in Carabel, and Apalachicola is at 73. So just pretty consistent temperatures throughout the region. Our dew points pretty consistent as well. 54 in Tallahassee, 54 in Quincy, and another 54 in Bainbridge. Down by the water, they're a little bit more moist. They got that sea breeze blowing in to give them some moisture and some humidity as well. So dew points are pretty comfortable. What do we mean when we say comfortable with the dew points? Here we go. We're sitting right here smack dab in the middle of our scale in the 50s. So we're comfortable. We're not too dry, but for us Floridians, that's still chapstick and lotion weather. We're not used to those lower dew points, so your skin might dry out just a bit. Your hair will look nice, but keep those lips and arms and legs moisturized. We're normally in the moderate or oppressive range, but we had some drier air come through, so we're just getting a little bit of a treat with that dry air. Our current winds right now, Pretty scattered, pretty various, and pretty mild. Nothing really consistent, nothing really showing us a pattern or some front moving through right now. So we're sitting at 7 in Tallahassee from the south. Those are some warmer winds. St. Mark's getting them from the southeast. So really nothing to point out in the region. Those are just some mild winds scattered throughout the region. Our satellite and radar, nothing to point out again. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. Rain is important for the environment and for us, but for right now, we're just enjoying those clear skies and that lack of rain. So right now, we're just getting a treat with that dry air and those clear skies. Our futurecast winds right now moving into tomorrow, and we can see that those winds did come from the south, but then they're moving out from the east, and we can pan in a little bit more, see the temperature changes a bit as that legend gets a little darker. Thursday afternoon, not even any visible winds in Tallahassee, just a small dot right there, just not even representative of anything strong. Moving into Thursday evening, those winds stay consistent. Friday morning, we see that they stay that way. Moving in, finally some change. We see some winds coming from the northwest. Those are a bit cooler winds. The winds do get a little stronger. We see the length of the arrows increase a bit, but we can credit our clear skies to those northeasterly winds that become a little bit stronger. But tonight, planning your evening, still warm around 7, 10. Our temperatures are going to be dropping rather quickly, and we're going to get down to 57 around midnight. Calm winds, though, and clear skies, so just a beautiful evening. Taking a look at our temperatures for tomorrow, tonight, a warm evening, 5-mile-an-hour winds, 53 degrees, just mild. Tonight and Thursday looks beautiful as well. Can't complain. Look how tranquil these conditions are. Clear skies, calm wind. We're warming up just a bit at 81 degrees, so things are getting a bit warmer. As we can see at our 7-day, sun every single day. Rain chances not even on the board until a week from today. Around Wednesday and Tuesday, we see 30 and 20, but not much of a threat. Your game day's looking beautiful, and your week ahead looks even more beautiful. We're going to go ahead and talk about that 7-day. Michael, look at those beautiful temperatures. Are you planning on going to that football game, or are you just going to stay outside and enjoy those beautiful temperatures you got?
I'm planning on going to that football game on Saturday, even though our team is not doing well, but
it's still a good environment. You can go. You can go have a good time and just ignore the scoreboard.
The weather's not an issue. Our team may be an issue, but the weather won't be an issue for sure.
Well, that's just this year, so yeah, just don't focus on the score. But I can tell you this much. I don't really enjoy those warm temperatures this time of year. It's hard to get into the holiday spirit when you're sitting at 84 degrees.
Yeah, I know a lot of people will start to think about Christmas in November 1st. I like Thanksgiving, so I would like these conditions to be nice for Thanksgiving because I'm planning on playing some golf during Thanksgiving.
Absolutely, and if you're going to go ahead and go on social media, follow us on Twitter. We have a Twitter, we have a Facebook as well.
Like us on Facebook again, on facebook.com/FSU Weather.
And of course, we're on YouTube, youtube.com/FSU Weather/live.
And don't forget about our Instagram at FSU Weather.
Yes.
And also tag us in anything you want to post about the weather here locally in Tallahassee or even across the nation. We'll enjoy that.
Stay connected with us and tune back in tomorrow at 6. I'm student meteorologist Megan Berry.
And I'm student meteorologist Michael Anand.
Have a great night.